Well, good afternoon, Southwest District of Kiwanis. My name is Sue Petrisin, and I am from the Kiwanis Club of East Lansing, Michigan. And I also am a member of the Grand Ledge Kiwanis Club that I'm working as a coach with. I served as the Kiwanis International President in the year 2015-2016, an experience that was one that I will never forget, but one that I would tell anybody that if they were interested in seeking a leadership position, that is one to do. So I want to thank you for inviting me to be with you today. This new world of with COVID pandemic and this new world of Zoom calls and WebEx and Teams and everything else that we have has allowed us as members to be able to travel remotely and travel to see other Kiwanis districts, and it's great to be with you today. So one of the things I want to do a little talk about with is, this has really had an impact on our Kiwanis clubs, this issue of many of us are still working from home. Some of us, our clubs are still not meeting in person, but many of us are meeting on Zoom or on some other form of platform on the web. And one of the questions I often hear is, what can we do for service? And I think it's really important for us as an organization to know that there is an opportunity for us to rediscover service. We're a group that likes to be hands-on, and we're a group that likes to, to do things and be with people. And that really has caused, some issues for many of us because we don't have that interaction on a day-to-day basis or with people like that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some opportunities that you would have within your own club or within your own division of projects that you could do to take the next step forward. Eventually, we're going to be able to meet in person again. Whenever that time comes, we'll have to figure out how to do that, but it's now time to start that planning and to pull things together. So, for example, one of the things I recommend clubs do initially is, if you haven't already done that or need to continue to do it, is have you contacted all the members of your club? Have you checked with them to see how they're doing and what they're doing? And, if you have spouses or partners or widows in your club, have you checked with them to see how they're, what's going on? Can you go grocery shopping for them? Can you take them to the doctor? So those things that we often do for our other community organizations, here's a great opportunity for you to take and do them within your own club. We've contacted members that were, or people that were members of our club the last, couple years that may have had to leave because of, other commitments and stuff, but how are they doing? What are they doing? And if there was anything we can help them out. One of the things I talk to family and friends about is that those people that are working from home, but also trying to manage their children and work, the schooling that is going on at home, sometimes they just need a break. And it may be, if you're willing to do that, just to go over and spend time with the children. So mom and dad can go ahead and, do some other work or be on, not interrupted for a while. But there's a lot of things that we can do as a club and as members. And some of those things include writing letters to the local medical personnel that are working for us, writing letters to nursing home residents. We've worked out some arrangements with a couple of nursing homes where not only have we written letters to see how they're doing, but also have sent and do Zoom talks like this with them. How are they doing? Some of the staff there will help set it up. And sometimes just for them to see someone else is a great opportunity for them to share, a little bit about themselves, but for them to have something different in their life on a regular basis. Nursing homes, assisted living facilities, writing their seniors, interviews with them, a great opportunity there. And also a way for our Circle K and our Key Club and our Builders Clubs, if they can get involved, to do that electronically this way as well. When we think about our service leadership programs who are in the same boat we are, trying to figure out how they're going to get through this pandemic, they're probably much better at using the equipment, the virtual platforms, than we are, and what a great way for them to connect with people that may be in those situations. Cards for hospitalized kids. There are still people that are in the hospital. There are still children that are in the hospital that just from normal, occurrences may not even be COVID related, but, what about an opportunity to connect with them, to send, note cards to them, or to send, can you send a small care package if the hospital will allow it, with crayons and a coloring book or things like that, just to give them something different to do. Become a tutor. What a great opportunity that we have with our service leadership programs to help them get through schooling. Now, some of them may not be in school now, but what an opportunity to get online with someone and let them read a book to you. So let them interact with you this way, or you sit down and read a book and post that on Facebook or social media and read a book to children as well. There's no better way to do that is for you to read to them, but also for them to read back to you. One of the clubs said to me one day, they said, well, one of the things we're doing is we have some people in our club, we're working with our youth that love to do design work and love to put flyers together. They're like, we're working with some of the local, the pet shelters and the local places like that may need just some help putting some of that stuff together because their staff, if they're not all able to work, they just need that help of little things like that to do. And what a great way to let our students or ourselves learn to do some new skills, but also to work with them and help on that. A couple things that the clubs that have been able to get out, and I know one of the things our club did was we actually had some signs made that said the East Lansing Kiwanis Club thanks our essential workers. And we were able to connect with our local city government and the local hospital and the local nursing homes and medical facilities and put signs out around the community that were just as a thank you note, nothing more than, hey, we want to thank you for what you're doing. At first, we started out with 10 or 15 signs, not really knowing what was going to happen. Since that time, we now are getting calls from, nursing homes or other places that we didn't get to and said, hey, can I get one of those signs? I'd love to put that in my yard. Some of our first responders, police officers, firefighters, nurses, doctors are asking the same thing. Can I put those? I'd love to put one of those in my yard as a way to thank our community for what they're doing. So that's quickly become a project that we started out with going, hey, let's just put some signs up. Where do we go? One of the other things that we have started doing, and we stole this from somebody else, so you know how that is, you always steal somebody else's idea, is that we have started giving bottles of Gatorade or water we just stuck a sticker on it that says thank you from our Kiwanis Club, and we're giving those to the people that are out working in the community. So the landscapers, there are still people that are driving the dump trucks that are still delivering mail, the FedEx and the UPS drivers and everybody like that. But we have bottles of Gatorade or water that we're giving them with our logo on it. And one of the members of my club actually went over to the waste management facility. I mean, who would think? Those people are still working, and they were so happy just that we dropped off some bottles of Gatorade, some bottles of water, and some bags of candy that they're like, who are you guys? What are you doing this for? We're like, well, you know what? Those people have to work like everybody else does. So, the Department of Public Works, the power companies, so places like that we often don't think about. And it was just that little bit of touch that they were just so happy to see for us to do something like that we could drop that off. We have since ordered little bottles of hand sanitizer. The police department in one of the towns said, hey, one of the things that we're having trouble with, or we have to fill up our bottles of hand sanitizer all the time, is we'd love some small bottles of hand sanitizer. So we went and bought some bottles of hand sanitizer and actually have some of them being produced right now with our logo on them to give those out to people. So you start to think about the things that how many people are pulling our community together and realize that there's a lot of people out there that are doing things like that. The clubs that are starting to do some virtual work or are still holding on Zoom, we now have some clubs that are actually meeting and holding Zoom meetings at the same time. So they've got a camera and a projector at their meetings. They still have members that are signing in on Zoom, as well as people that are attending their public meeting space. And what we have found from that is that now we're getting not only more members at our meeting, but we're able to open those meetings up to people and say, hey, come check out Kiwanis and who we are and what we do. No better opportunity than to learn about what we're doing, which leads me into the fact that you can have speakers from everywhere. I'm calling in from Michigan. There's a great opportunity to get speakers from wherever you want to invite them in from, because most people can do 15 or 20 minutes from their home or their office or wherever they're at. But the sky really is the limit in that regard. Interclubs. We, do interclubs with clubs around the world, because there are clubs out there that are meeting, and there's nothing, and if you follow Facebook, and that's, I hate to say, but that's the one place where everybody is right now, is that people are posting all that stuff on Facebook. and saying, hey, come visit our club. And in our district, they're like, well, does that count as an interclub? We're like, absolutely. This is the new way things are happening. This is the way meetings are happening. So we have to adapt to that, and we have to do those things. But there's a lot of little things like that we don't often think about. And one thing that we have done is reached out to some of our service leadership programs and asked them to help us set up some of this virtual settings. They seem to know it, is better than many of us, like I said, and there's no better way to have them involved. The Michigan District is also going to a virtual convention here at the end of August, and we have actually asked our Key Club board, our Circle K board, and some of our past service leadership program members to actually run our Zoom for us. So they're going to set up the Zoom rooms. They're going to make sure that everything's right. They're going to do all the breakout rooms. They're actually going to put all of our PowerPoints together for us because they're looking for stuff to do as well. Most of them, and I don't know in your part of the world where school is, but most of them are not going back to school until the end of September. Everything will be online, so they're looking for things to do. So we have moved that way, and a lot of our sessions during the week of August 17th to the 22nd will be based on things that clubs can do in a virtual world. So as everybody will say, we've pivoted, we're in unprecedented times, this is something we've never seen before. We've got it all, but there's no better way than as a Kiwanis Club to come together and help your community. And as I like to say, go back to the basics of who we are. As a Kiwanis Club, we are here to serve the children of the world. However that happens, go back to our purpose as an organization. And when you start to think about things to do, figure out how you can do it that way. So as far as fundraising, we have had several, how do you do fundraisers? How many of us have truly lost all of our fundraising projects, right? Our club has a chicken barbecue every year. It's typically 2 weeks ago. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. Well, no chicken, no drive-through. We haven't had any opportunity to do anything to raise funds. So we actually are doing a virtual barbecue. We sold tickets like we would any other year. And we worked with 3 of our local partners as far as restaurants, 3 local restaurants, nothing that's a chain restaurant, but at 3 locally owned restaurants, and said, hey, look, they support us through the year. We want to help support them. So we sold tickets, $10 of every ticket. I can take my ticket into the restaurant and it will be worth $10 worth of food at that restaurant. And then the restaurant will get that money at the end. And then my club will get $5 because we charge $15. So 10 for the restaurant, 5 for my club, which is the normal price we do every year. 3 local restaurants. And we've actually given them till October 31st to use the ticket. So usually it's a one-time, you have to use it that day, as it works. But here's a great opportunity to not only help our partners get back on their feet because they're restricted to how many people can come to their restaurant, but it helps them, gives them some income, and it also helps us and helps us raise our funds that we need for our club to support the projects that we do. So I've heard of clubs doing, wine tasting is a fundraiser. So you work with a local winery or a local store, and for X amount of dollars, they ship the wine right to your house. And then they have someone get online. They have a Zoom call. Everybody gets online and they talk about, these are the different wines, but it's a fundraiser for the club. They work out with the community. The wine is shipped by the company. You're still doing something. It's still a fundraiser, and people know that's what the money is for. A lot of baskets, raffles and stuff like that are all happening online. Technology has allowed us to do that type of stuff using Venmo or the Square or whatever other kind of PayPal financials program you want to use. But it's really a time now to think outside the box. I think about years ago when we started talking about doing virtual meetings or virtual board meetings, and it was like, oh, no, we're never going to get there. Well, if this hasn't shown us that we have to get there and shown us that we have to do it, nothing will. And I think as Kiwanis clubs, many Kiwanis clubs have made a great leap and made that adaptation. There are some clubs that are still, having trouble with it, which that's up to our leadership teams in our districts and our local clubs to call those clubs and see what they can help out. But great opportunities are out there. It's amazing what we can do when we're sitting at home and not able to get there. So I will open it up and see if you have any questions.
Lots of questions. This was amazing. I just love the fact that you said we just really need to get back to our basics, just helping. And then your idea, uh, connecting with members, that is so important. Because I have had clubs that contacted me and said, well, we're just not meeting. We can't do it. And I'm like, we've got to figure out, you've got to figure something out.
Right. I mean, whether it's, we've had some people say, well, but, Joe doesn't use the computer. It's like, well, can we help? I've talked to a lot of people through Zoom setups, right, on their computer. There's no reason not to. And what we have found is those members that haven't or weren't coming to our meetings are now coming to the meetings because you know what? They can sit at home and do it.
That is very true. I've meeting attendance for everybody that's doing it on a virtual meeting is up. You're
Right.
you're absolutely right about that.
Right.
Just because it's more convenient
Mm-hmm.
and they can do it during their lunch. If it's a lunch meeting, they can do it from work during lunch. Even
Right.
if it's for 15 or 20 minutes to stop in and say hi to everybody. If it's during dinner, the family can be there. That is so true. You've hit
And
the
I think
nail.
that, yeah, and I think that's one thing that the other thing is it's opened up our clubs for me to show my family or for me to show my pets or, it's great to have the kids running in the background. People are like, oh, don't, sorry about the kids or sorry about, it's like, no, we're all humans. This is what's going on in our life right now. And we all need to be accepting of it. I think about the work calls I've been on and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, my husband's coming or the dog's here. It's like, hey, let's introduce them to us so we know who they are because
Absolutely.
we're all going through it, right? It's not just me, it's not just you. And it shows it really has taken it back to the fact that we're all equal. We're all human, and whatever happens in our life, we can't leave. We're a lot of times you're used to leaving it at home when you get to work your work. Well, it doesn't work that way anymore because this is my work. This is my office.
Yeah. Just I'll tell you from personal experience that the giving people bottles of water, it, you would be amazed. Well, you already are amazed how
Right.
effective that is. Um, when I moved into my new house, one of the very first things I did, it was a hot summer day, and the mailman was dropping off my mail, and I go, "Hey, do you do you need a bottle of water? It's hot out here." And he actually turned it down, but he takes it from me all the time now. And
Right.
so now I know that his son lives in Chicago and is a filmmaker, and they just had a child, and and people usually don't know that about their
That's
mailman
right.
or the guy who drops off the UPS. They're
Right.
just, but it gives you that huge connection with
Right.
somebody who they're there to help you, and if you can help them a little bit, man, life's so much better for everybody.
I know a club that actually put a banner in front of the local post office
Uh-huh.
and said, we thank our postal workers. And then like a week later, they took lunch into all the postal workers. And people that, if their first response is like, well, why are you doing this for us? Right. This is our job. They're like, but you know what? You're dealing with this. Not only are you coming to work every day to manage our mail, but at the same end, you have family at home that you're trying to take care of. And hey, if we can take one little thing off your mind for the day that we're going to give you lunch, what a great way to do that. I put a gift basket, so to say, if you want to put it that way, a bag of goodies out for my trash guy. You put it on top of the trash can. He's got to pick it up. Granted, okay, he has to get out of the truck and get it off the can so he doesn't dump it in the trash. But I got a note from him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this was wonderful." He goes, "Just a few. It was a couple granola bars and some snacks, but there's another group of people that are out doing their job every day.
They're doing their job.
We expect it to happen, but what a better way to thank them."
Yeah, it's they. I mean, I hope that people who are watching this at our virtual convention, our VCon, just get some real important thoughts out of here. I mean, you've put them into. They really need to think about stuff like this. Let's take care of the people around us. Let's take care of our members. Maybe you've got that one member who's been locked up for months
Right.
because you know, I have one who has health issues, and
Mhm.
he cannot leave. If he catches this thing, he is in trouble.
Right,
But
right.
he appreciates the calls from the
Mhm,
membership to say, just
mhm.
checking in on you. And then just the people around us who, it just brightens their day, and it makes the world a better place for all of us. And you're so right. You're so right. We just got to go back to the purpose and the meaning of Kiwanis and what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
So this has been wonderful, Sue. I think
Thank
I
you.
really hope everybody enjoys it. And thank you.
Yep, and if I can help in any other way, feel free to let them know they can get a hold of me. One thing I will advertise is that in Michigan we host a program on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 6 p.m. your time, correct?
Correct.
Called Kiwanis Let's Talk, and we've been doing this since March. And every week we have a different speaker. If you go to the Michigan District of Kiwanis Facebook page, all the events are there. But a couple speakers that we have coming up. And I think by the time convention is over, we'll have had the Key Club International and the Circle K International presidents. However, in September, we have Dr. Kent Keith, who wrote the Paradoxical Commandments. They're the ones that are like, people are going to be mean to you, be nice anyway. He is a friend. He is going to come on and talk about how he wrote those in 1968 and how Mother Teresa picked those up and put them in her children's home in Calcutta. And he's going to talk about that. And then the week after, September 24th, we have two professors from the university where I work at Michigan State University are going to come in and talk about unconscious bias. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world right now, but what a better way to think about, how you look at things as an individual before you start looking at everything else. So that information is all on our Facebook page for the Michigan District of Kiwanis. We'd love to have you here. I know Ken joins us. There's a few other people that join us along the way, and we love to share that information with everybody. It's also shown on Facebook Live, so if someone doesn't sign up for the webinar, they can see it on Facebook Live.
This is an amazing program. I encourage everybody from the Southwest District watching this to sign up. My favorite ones so far have been Operation Cupcake. That was awesome. And then the gentleman a couple of weeks ago about he cooked from home. He did the shrimp, drawing a blank, the shrimp dish.
Etouffee, the shrimp etouffee.
Yeah, shrimp etouffee. Yeah. He's from Louisiana, and he had the accent and the whole bit. It was so much fun. It was great.
So even the alligator hunter, right? We had somebody that came in that hunts alligators, but we're always looking for programs. And I know we have a program, the Don't Mess With Us program is going to be on sometime in September. But it's a great way for us to showcase Kiwanis clubs and what the work that they're doing, but also individuals, as Kirk did the cooking for us. So we told him he couldn't come back unless he did some desserts next time.
I look forward to that one.
Wonderful.
We've gone about 23 minutes. You were awesome as always. Man.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue.
Sure, no problem.